Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of CookieCast. So on CookieCast, it's the darkest timeline. You've got me today, and it's a doozy today, my word. We've got near-death experiences. True story. Car shopping. Time. Yeah, we're talking about the big things here, people. The pitfalls of car shopping and stress. Yeah, it's one of those episodes today. We've got TV, games, no movies. Movies are just not happening at the moment. I'm trying to read a book and finish the book so I can watch the film. So that'll be a thing in the future, but I'm not quite through the book just yet. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Share that podcast around, people. Come on. Do it. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the darkest timeline. Hello. How are you doing? Are you well? Not sure entirely what that question was. Are you well? Are you well? This microphone is not in the right place. Obviously, I do hope you are doing well. You're having a good day, good week, good life. If you're not having the best of times, reach out to anybody here at the podcast. We will absolutely love to speak to you. Failing that, friends and family. And if you don't feel like any of those options quite fit for you, there are services out there. We encourage you to get in touch with any of those options, especially us here. We'd love to talk. That's kind of what we do. It's always better to reach out. So, in the interest of trimming the fat from podcasts, I've decided to write a catalogue list of things for this week's podcast. It has been a doozy of a week. Not gonna lie, was dreading having to do this podcast because although there are certain things that I do keep a little closer to the chest, there are other things that I have to sort of commit to putting out there into the world. And this is one of those weeks where I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to talk about stuff that I don't want to talk about. So, to the list. Oh, there's some reminders here. What reminders have we got? Oh, that's done, and that's done. And in fact, yes. Okay, we can work with that. Going to start off with a little situation me and my son found ourselves in last Wednesday. Everything started last Wednesday, so the best thing to do is start. We are on the motorway heading to Manchester for something that will become quite apparent quite quickly. And I think we're about half an hour away. Chugging along nicely. It's a bit of a weird one because that journey now, I've driven that journey at times when it's been truly awful. It's not as bad now. It's not perfect by any means. So what you end up with is a situation where you've got these two congestion, the smart motorway bits where they're like, oh, it's rush hour, so we're going to make everybody go really slow. So it goes like 60, 50, 40. By the time you get to 40, everyone's doing first gear. Under 10 miles an hour. It's very, very odd. Because it's like, the thing says 40, do 40. Apparently that's too difficult. And, you know, it makes sense, yet also doesn't work. So you have to kind of wonder, sort of thing. Anywho, we're chugging along, and it was one of those situations where there were 4 lanes. Now, I have a confession. And you know, one of those things that you have to confess to, but you're not completely sorry about. I am a middle lane hog. And although I know you're not supposed to, I don't know that you're not supposed to stay in the middle lane. You're supposed to either be in the slow or the fast lane. You're not supposed to stay in the middle lane. I personally don't agree. Especially on certain days and especially at certain times. So, for example, on a weekday, the slow lane is nothing but trucks. And they then move out into the middle lane because they're passing, but they're passing at 70. And anybody that drives motorways knows exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to go in the fast lane. The fast lane is reserved for BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, VWs. That's who you're going to find in the fast lane. I don't drive one of those cars. I don't need to go in the fast lane. I don't like the fast lane. But I'm certainly not going to do, and this is a real world example from the other day, I'm not going to do 50 on the motorway. If you're doing 50 on the motorway, you should be in the slow lane. I do 70. That's the speed limit. If I'm doing 70, the person in front of me is doing 68, I want you in the slow lane, my friend. The person next to me is doing 90, I want you in the fast lane. But I'm doing 70. I ideally would like to stay in the middle lane. But I know you're not allowed to, I know you're not supposed to. So what I generally do is pass a bunch of cars that are in the slow lane, look for a gap, tuck myself in, wait for inevitable truck, pull back out into the middle lane, and rinse and repeat. If you think about it, if you're doing like a 90-minute journey, you're going to do it a few times. Every now and then, I do go into the fast lane because I end up in situations where I go, why is this person doing 62? Guess we're going round, etc. So, what I do like is 4 lanes. 4 lanes means that there's technically no middle lane. Now, the way it works is, obviously, your very left lane is people coming on and off slip roads. But when there's no slip road, it's still a lane, and it removes the middle lane. Wink, wink. You've still got your slow lane of people who are ultimately going off to the right or staying on the motorway or doing whatever. You've still technically got your middle lane and you've still got your fast lane. We are in a 4-lane situation. And I mean, let's call it the middle lane. I was in a situation where cars to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. And this was the problem because I was stuck in the middle. Car in front of me, doing 68. What's the opposite of erratic driving? Well, I don't mean like careful driving either. I mean, they're not going 20 mile an hour over the speed limit and swerving 4-lane flip-flops and all that. But they're doing 68. You don't know if you can quite trust what they're going to do next. That situation. We had one of those, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm a bit like, if this carries on for much longer, I'm probably going to go around you. I don't feel safe behind you. I don't really know what you're doing. Your speed is 68, 62, 72 kind of speeds. None of it makes sense. A lot of braking with nothing in front. Like I say, it's like almost like the opposite of erratic, while still being that kind of situation you don't want any part of. So, there is a point where the car in front decides to move into the left. Let's call it the left lane for this. Technically the slow lane, whatever. They start moving across into the left lane. And I can only presume they haven't looked. Because halfway through their manoeuvre, a truck blares its horn with the "what the fuck are you doing? You're about to drive out in front of me and I'm going to crash into you" kind of situation. Car in front of me, that is still half in my lane, goes, "Oh shit, I've made a terrible error." The way I resolve this error is to slam on the brakes and swerve back into the lane I am in. So we go from 68 to 42 in literally 1 second. The car is 10 feet in front. And I go, "Oh shit, we're about to die." And I go, "Okay, this is it. This is the end. This is it for me. I'm going to slam straight into the back of this car. And we're going to die." And when people say that at that moment your life flashes before your eyes, what I can say is I feel that I went up to the moment before your life flashes before your eyes. I felt it coming, I just never experienced it. Because some part of my brain tapped me on the shoulder and went, "Hey, your son's in the back of the car. Whether you're about to die right now or not is one thing, but don't you want to save him?" And I went, "Oh shit, of course, I absolutely want to save him. I can do something about this. I can do something to try and rectify this situation." I slam on the brakes, I push in the clutch, and I ditch it into the fast lane. I avoid this car by inches. Literal inches. I swerved around this car. Thank the maker there was nothing behind in the fast lane, which at that point was surprising. I swerved around this car. Like I say, we went from 68 to 42 in about 10 feet. It was anchors on. I slammed it into fourth gear, set off as fast as I possibly could to not be then the reason for an accident, and I carried on about my day. And I looked in the mirror behind, and I saw this car perform a 3-lane flip-flop after that to exit off a slip road. And I was like, from the moment I got behind you, I knew you were a liability, and I knew there was something wrong about that situation. And my word, to be right is one of those things where you go, "I knew it, I fucking knew it." To avoid that situation, that was a whole other thing. That was that to me is every single fibre of the reason that you learn to drive. You learn for the reasons and all of those things. It was that. It came down to that moment of, "Oh shit, I'm about to die, but I can do something about this," and I did, and we survived. And it was one of those situations where you would want to pull over and hyperventilate for 10 to 30 minutes. But I couldn't. I just had to keep going. I just carried on going, centered myself. My son was like, Daddy, why did that happen? And I was like, because the car in front pulled out in front of a truck and nearly got taken out by the truck. And the way they resolved that problem was by slamming on the brakes and swerving in front of us. That was a multi-car pile-up that was about to happen there. I'd have gone into the back. Something would have gone into the back of me. The truck would have gone into the side of the vehicle in front because I'd have pushed that vehicle off to the left. The truck would have driven through it. Multi-car pile-up that we narrowly avoided. Fucking terrifying. That was one of the more terrifying situations that I saw on that journey. Now I hear what you're saying. Hang on a minute. Why were you driving to Manchester? Well, as it may or may not be known at this point in time, me and my family are in the market for a new vehicle. New to us, obviously. We don't get new. That's not even true. We had a new car a few years back. We were in the market for a new to us vehicle. Heavily second-hand market vehicle. We did a lot of searching, and I've been searching for months at this point. It's not days, it's not weeks, it's months, and probably all of this year at this point in time. Few problems have arisen. Problems being is we need 7 seats. We don't need 7 seats. Well, do we need 7 seats? Can we get away with not having 7 seats? We need 7 seats. Do me a favour. Jump onto Auto Trader, do this search. 7 seats, electric. I won't give away too much price range wise, but not a lot of money. And then do it within like 50 miles of where you live, and tell me what exciting vehicles you get to look at, because those vehicles are rock and fucking roll. If you want a minibus, got you covered, or a Land Rover, Range Rover, whatever the fuck those things are, Discoveries, million Discoveries, and that's it. That's all you got, and that's all you're getting. So I said to my car guy. I said to Mr. Ian, I said, hey, Mr. Ian, I'm in the market for a car. And he was like, what about this? And I was like, eh. He was like, what about this? I was like, eh. And I relayed it all to Leanne. I was like, Ian says this. And she was like, yeah, I guess. And I was like, yeah. In all of our searches, a certain car kept coming up. A particular car that, weirdly, ticked our boxes. Real low money-wise, super low mileage. It was electric, fully electric, and it has 7 seats, which is considered rare for a lot of cars, certainly this vehicle. And it just kept coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up. And it got to the point where we were a little bit like, okay, I think we need to look at this vehicle. It helped for me personally that it was a particular car, a particular brand that I've been interested in for quite some time. I've wanted to make the jump to electric for quite some time. If it was up to me, we would have solar panels on the roof and charge our electric cars off our solar panels, and away we go. But it's not up to me, it's up to the money gods, and the money gods hate me. So, me and my son took a little road trip over to Manchester to put it to bed. To get there, to look at the vehicle, to go, you know what? This is not for us. And then we could close that door. I'm a little bit more forgiving of people in certain situations. And by people, I mean car salesmen or car saleswomen, car salespeople. A friend of mine, a little less forgiving. So in a situation where a car salesperson would be like, oh, let me sell you a car that's not road legal, I'd be like, that sounds like a great idea. And, a friend of mine would be like, that sounds illegal. Don't do that. That sort of thing. I'm not the best because car salespeople, I mean, there's a stereotype for a reason. They're not exactly the best of, They're there for one reason only. They're there to sell you a car. The only time I've ever felt comfortable buying a car is when the person that's trying to sell me a car doesn't try to sell me a car. I love not being sold to in all walks of life, which is why I hate adverts. If I see something and I like it, then I'm on board. I'll buy that. If I see something and I like it and you try and ram that thing down my throat, I'm going to be like, whether I like it or not, it's too much. It's wrong. I unfortunately feel like I maybe showed my hand too soon in the process, because I drove for 90 minutes to go and look at a car, and I think the person at the other end of that was like, you ain't driving 90 minutes to come and look at a car to go, oh, I'm good, thanks, see you later. They kind of knew it was a done deal. I didn't. And I went to look at the car and got there and was like, oh my. And we took it for a little test drive. And my son was very sort of like, oh, this is fun and that's fun and the other fun. And I was like, it's not as fun as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot of fun. And weirdly, when I got home, I had to Google, where was the fun? And Google was like, well, in these situations, these conditions and these things, the fun might have been removed. And I was like, oh, yeah, I think all of those things were in play. So the conversation after the test drive was very much one of those conversations of, so when are you coming to pick your new car up? And I was like, I don't know. When is it available? Do it right now if you like. It's probably a bit soon for me. I probably should have at least a conversation. Sort it out for Saturday, yeah? Like, can I go now? I need an adult. Obviously, just put everything on to Leon. By the time I got home, Leon was like, why didn't you just sort it there and then? It ticks all the boxes. Away we go. I'm like, I guess. She was like, it's got 7 seats. It's electric. You want an electric car. It's got 7 seats. Just do it. I was like, it didn't drive the way I wanted it to. It didn't do the things I wanted it to. She was like, did it drive? Like, She was like, just sort it. It's like, okay. We will return to that story. But right now, I'm going to tell you a different story. A different story that has concerned me more than I've let on. I'm going to be very open, upfront and honest here, because you already know part of the story. I have had a few memory-related issues recently. I think that I've been taking a series of supplements, not shitloads of supplements, nothing crazy, no steroids or anything like that. I've just been taking creatine every day, and I recently started taking magnesium. Magnesium is designed pretty much purely around giving you a little bit of energy, helps you sleep, all of that. After a while, I had to look up to see if magnesium caused memory issues. I believe you were there when I did it. And the answer was no. And in actual fact, magnesium will help improve your memory by helping you get better sleep. And I went, cool. So what the fuck is going on? Memory is weird at the moment. Memory is, I can completely have no recollection of what I did the morning of the day. And it's not like I'm like, oh, I don't know what happened this morning. There's a lot of like, well, I know I did this and I know I did that and I know I went here and I know I went there. I just don't remember the moment. I don't remember all the things that I thought about while I was on my run. I don't remember anything I particularly saw, but I know I went for a run. And obviously, at the age I am, at the age I'm going to be, things like that start to be a bit of a concern. You're like, well, is this, are these early signs of dementia? Like I say, I'm getting to that. I'm not that age, but people get like early onset dementia. Is that a thing? Man of my history, shall we say? Would it be something that would start to show signs now? If so, I hear a lot of talk of dementia these days, and it's terrifying. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's on my mind, and I'm just panicking. This is not a story about me being forgetful. This is not a story about me forgetting to do something or be somewhere or whatever. It's a different kind of story. Friday gone, I was like, right, I've got to get a series of things done over the course of the day so that I'm in a position that I can collect the children from school. So I knew that, and I was like, right, I've got from here to here to do this, I've got from here to here to do that, I've got from here to here to do this. Got to get all these jobs done so that I'm in the best position to go and get the children from school. And I'm going to do a special tea, so I'd like to go and get them from school, come back at a reasonable time, get on with tea, away we go. Everybody's happy. So I'm rushing here, I'm rushing there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Got to get this done, got to get that done, got to get ready, got to make sure I'm ready, got to do this, got to do that, got to do the other. And I was on time. I was doing really well time wise. I was like, right, might not be able to quite get this job fully done, but other than that, I'll have done pretty much everything that I need to get done, and I'm excited at the prospect. This is great. This is wonderful. I'm like, right, I need to go and get the children from school. I need to get my daughter's bike out, and I need to put my shoes on. I'll put my shoes on first because I've got to go out to the shed. So I'll grab my shoes, take them into the kitchen, go to throw them down on the floor, and as I do, I turn and look at the clock, and I go, for fuck's sake, the clock stopped. I can't believe the clock stopped. And I can't believe it stopped exactly an hour ago. And a part of me goes, do you not think that's weird? And another part of me goes, yes, actually, I do. I do think that's weird. Exactly an hour ago, you say. That's odd. Let's check the watch. Let's see what time it actually is, because it can't be exactly an hour ago. It'll be like 50 minutes or 55 minutes or... Check my watch to find that the clock in the kitchen hasn't stopped. Clock in the kitchen's telling the right time. I check the oven, see what time the oven clock says. And the other oven clock matches the clock on the wall, the watch on my wrist. What the fuck? Yeah, I lost an hour. I had a little bit of a mental break at that point because I don't know if you could ever understand the experience of losing an hour. Because what that means is that for 3 hours prior to that, I was telling the time wrong for 3 hours. You would think at one point in those 3 hours, I would have gone, hang on a minute, the time's wrong. Or, oh, I'm wrong. I've got the time wrong. I've got another hour. Nope. 3 hours of me going, I've got to get this done, I've got to get that done, I've got to be here, and I've got to be there, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that, and I need to make sure I'm ready, I need to make sure I've done this, I need to make sure I've done all the jobs, I need to make sure this, and I need to make sure that. And 3 hours of me not being able to tell the time, meaning there's me an hour early going, well, shit, what do I do now? I've done everything. Not only was it very baffling at that point in time, it's still baffling to me now, 4 days later, that I'm like, how is that even a thing? How, in all that time, did I not look at the time and go, wait a minute, it's not that time, it's this time, I've got plenty of time. Why am I rushing like a crazy person? So, I bought a car. And I had to go and get it. And I get a phone call. And I'm like, this can only be a good thing. This is the sweet aftercare that I'm gonna become accustomed to. Sweet aftercare. There's a small problem. I missed the phone call. I was like, fuck, I missed that phone call. I get a text message with a voicemail. The voicemail's like just telling me who it was. I was like, that's no use to me. I get a text message. Hi, I'm aware that you're supposed to be picking your car up. However, there are some problems. And I'm like, for fuck's sake. All of these things that we didn't mention at the time that you purchased the car, they all need replacing. And I'm like, that's a distinct oversight. They're like, don't worry, the car is like road legal. You can drive the car. But all of these things need replacing and we need to keep it for an extra week. And I was like, no. I'm supposed to be coming on Saturday to collect that car. I'm going to bring you my car and swap it over for your car, which will then be my car. And then I'll come home. And they were like, right, we've got a couple of options here. Number one, you can come and collect it. You can take it home and then you can bring it back to us. We will keep it for a series of days and you can come back and get it next Saturday. Or you just leave it with us until next Saturday and we'll get it sorted. I'm like, neither of those things work for me. But as I am a man who has no patience, I would rather come and get it this Saturday and bring it back. Yes, I know. I am aware. There's a problem in all of this. Trust me when I say that it was the smartest move. Now, picking it up and taking it back and picking it up and taking it back and all of that, backwards and forwards and to and fro. I explained this to somebody the other day and they were like, why the fuck would you do that? Just leave it there. And I was like, nope, can't. They were like, why? I was like, there is a reason, believe me. So there is another upside. I was like, it gives me and my son something to do on Wednesday because we had a nice little trip out. It was, in a lot of ways it was stressful. In some ways it was stressful. In other ways it was stressful. But some of it was nice. We went and he had a meal and we sat and we chatted and we did like petrol, we did like diesel based things and like filled the car up. We went to Tim Hortons. We had a really nice time. He had 2 sleeps that day. The joys of sitting in the back of a car, I guess. It was a nice day, and I was like, oh, I can recapture that by doing that drive again. Twice. 4 times. Sorry, what was I thinking? So, I'm like, look, you guys said I could have it Saturday. Now you're saying if I come and get it, you'll let me have it. So I'm doing that. They were like, sure, can make that happen. Come and see us at 3 o'clock. And I went, oh, okay. I drive, after everything that I've done Saturday morning, I drive for the best part of 2 hours. I get there. They're like, look, we've got an absolute mess of cars out there. Give us 20 minutes, half an hour to move a load of cars around. Otherwise, you're never getting your car out, etc. I sit, we go through all the paperwork, we do all the stuff. I hand over a load of keys and all of my paperwork. They give me a key and a load of paperwork, and that's me done. I get in the car. I'm like, okay, cool. I've got enough power, range, whatever you want to call it, battery power to get home. That's all I really cared about. And away we go. And I drive home, and that is that. That is the end of that story. Of fucking course it's not. You know me. You know that Cookie's luck is always in, and it's always bad. I get the car. I set off and I'm driving. I'm having a lovely time. I'm driving along. I'm doing 70 the whole way, where possible. So much so that I have a little dalliance in the slow lane for a little while, for a little bit of time in the middle lane. Very rare. In fact, I don't think. No, I'm going to say this now. I think twice I went in the fast lane. I had like all sorts of crazy vehicles coming up behind and going around and stuff, and I was laughing to myself going, yep, you toddle on down there, and just so we're both clear, we're all on the same page, I could absolutely smoke you in a second. So I am happy with that knowledge, and I would just sit here pootling along at 70 miles an hour. Win-win. Everybody's happy. I returned to York. Hey, look, children. Look what I got. My daughter apparently screamed when she saw me pull up outside. Very excited. My son, very excited, has told me every day how much he loves the new car. My daughter can't be too far away from it. Anytime the car leaves the house, she has to be in it. Anytime we go anywhere, she wants to be in and around it. She wants to try absolutely everything, all of this. And that is great. And honestly, my daughter is a big reason that I bought this car. My son being part of it is a big reason that I bought the car. I was sad to let the other car go because I feel a connection between that and my son, because we had to get that car because we were having my son. All of these emotions are going on. It's all very, but the kids love it. I'm hoping that the other two will like it. The other two will enjoy it, even if it's just for one weekend. I do hope that they can have one weekend where they enjoy it. Bearing in mind, it won't be here when they come. It's not going to be here because it's going back on Wednesday to have all this work done. So that's that. Now then, small series of details here. Day before I go to pick the car up, there's this weird realization that I might have bought a car that might look to other people like I have some kind of political agenda. I don't have any political agenda. I just needed a car that was ideally electric and had 7 seats. Those were my criteria. This car was available. Now, I will say this. Yes, these cars are cars that I have been very interested in for a very long time. I've always thought they're quite cool, quite flash, whatever, but then definitely not a car that you're going to get 7 seats in. And you, as a dad, you're not going to be like driving around in one of these cars. And that was kind of that. And then somebody went, hey, did you know that you could get one of those cars as a 7-seater? And I was like, that's interesting. It was very much a, the words fate, meant to be, etc. thrown around. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of go in for that kind of thing. The thing about buying a car is if that car is yours, it's yours. It'll be there when you need it. You'll go and buy it. It'll be there when you go and buy it. You'll get it a good deal and you'll come home with it. And what happens after that is anybody's guess, as I've found out far too many times. Day before I go to get it, a load of stuff starts kicking off. A couple of my friends are like, can't believe you would buy a car like that. I'm like, why? Like, one person said to me, you're killing the planet. Like, it's electric. How am I killing the planet? Another person highlighted, like I say, political reasons. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess, actually. I didn't really think of that. That's a bit of a... I didn't realise I was buying a political statement. I don't want to make a political statement. I just want a car that the kids can go in, and the dog, and Lan, and me. That could be a problem. I don't want to make a political statement. Then it all starts kicking off. Everything, everywhere is like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this car company. These people are the fucking worst. All this. And I'm like, oh shit. I had a conversation with one person where I was like, hey, when I get the car, you can, we can see if so-and-so wants a little go in the car. Oh, they absolutely won't want to go in your car. Oh, why not? Well, they feel very strongly about certain things and they absolutely wouldn't want to go in your car. And I was like, oh, I didn't really think like that. It's a very, very old car. I didn't think that this would be this much of an issue. I think I might have made a mistake. I don't like this. And I spoke to Leanne. I was like, have I made a really, really stupid error? She was like, it's fine. You don't need to worry. It's just, it might send a bit of a message. And I'm like, I imagine that parking it on the drive, my neighbours would be like, oh, you're one of them. And, that sort of thing. And then I started thinking about my friends and I was like, well, one of my friends has already made it very clear that they would have nothing to do with my car. And another friend, they also made it very clear that they wouldn't want anything to do with that brand. And then then many of the people I know have made it clear that they wouldn't want to have anything to do with that brand. And I was like, oh shit, this is karma. This is karma, isn't it? This is me getting revenge taken on me for all the times that I've, I was about to say vindicated, all the times I was about to say victimized. I don't mean any of those things. When I'm like, oh, all Audi drivers are the same. This is karma. So by the time I went to buy the vehicle, pick it up and etc., and not buy it, it was already bought. But as I went to pick it up, I was really sour on it. I was like, I think I've made a really bad mistake here. I feel like I just want to cancel the whole deal and walk away. And Leanne's like, you can't. We need a car. We can't stay in the situation that we've been in for the last 2 years. it's costing far too much money. By the time we get to winter, our car's not going to, it's just not going to be a viable option anymore. We need to do something. I'm like, I'm pretty sure what we're doing is making the situation worse. She was like, you don't know that, and the only way to find out is by doing it. But if that's the case, then we'll just have to deal with it. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think this is right. I don't like this at all, etc. I go and pick the car up, drive to Manchester with nothing to write home about. It was a much better journey. I was on my own, which I felt a little sad about. There was a couple of people I would have liked to have taken with me. A couple of children I would have liked to have taken with me. Nobody was available. I went on my Jack Jones. I get there, they're like, we need to sort these cars out. I do all the stuff. I get in the car. I've told you all of this. Plenty of range to get home. Get home, pull on the drive. The kids are going mental. Can't believe we've got this car. I can't believe this is brilliant. Can we go in the car? Can we go in the car? I say, well, do you know what? We should probably stick a little bit of power in the car. So let's go and find somewhere to plug in, shall we? I open the front of the car to get the charging cable out, and I go, where's the charging cable? Yeah, that's right. I bought an electric car, drove all the way home, which is a very long way. It's 85 miles. I started with 120 miles, and I drove all the way home to find that I didn't have a charging cable. Yeah, just let that one just sink right in. A car that has to go back on Wednesday, no charging cable. Now, what I do have is a home charging cable. I say, this is fine, let's just plug it in. Plug it in and it goes, cool, I am going to charge 4 miles an hour. It will take over 24 hours to charge me to 80%. And I go, holy fucking shitballs. 5 hours. 5 hours it took to find a solution to this problem. I drove probably about 50 miles altogether in 2 different cars. I used more electricity and more range than I gained. I went to the same place 3 times to check 3 different options for charging, and the last time I went was because I was absolutely assured that they had the charger I needed and I could just plug it in, and they were right. So there's me sat there at 11 o'clock at night with all the taxi drivers charging my electric car at an astronomical amount of money, sitting there in the dark going, this was a terrible idea. And this is karma of a whole new level. Since then, you'll be pleased to know, I've had to take the car back twice to charge it. Can't charge anywhere else. There's nowhere else that I'm able to charge it because I don't have the cable. I phoned the garage. I said, hey, you guys have got my cable. They were like, no, we haven't. That car doesn't come with a cable. I was like, that's interesting because I've got a picture right here that shows that car with that cable. And if I don't have that cable, I can't charge the car. They were like, interesting. Let me get back to you on that one. I was like, okay then. Let's just bear in mind I need to get the car back to you. What's nice is that having charged the car 3-4 times since Saturday, the car is constantly losing power. Every time I check to see what power the car's on, it's lost some. Let's have a look, shall we? It keeps telling me it's asleep. Which is interesting because if it's asleep, why does it keep? Oh, there we go. We've lost over the course of today. We've lost 3 miles of range, and apparently the car is parked. And if you look at the location of it, it's parked on my neighbour's drive. Apparently, 3 miles of range I've lost today. That would cost me about £4. It's a massive burden, a monumental burden. All the conversations that me and Leon have now are all about charging cars, how to make charging cars cheaper, how to make charging cars more convenient, how it could possibly cost this much money when everything before buying it told us it was going to be really cheap, and so on and so on. This is absolute 100% karma. And because of that, I am just doing that. This is the way it's supposed to be. I believe Cole Chambers said that. If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Moving on swiftly. It's World Cup season at the moment, and we decided to get into the spirit of things by me taking my son to his usual football lesson. That's about as engaged as we've been with the World Cup, and that is by going to our usual weekly football session. It's a different place at the moment. They're having the pitches redone. So, yeah, just takes a little bit longer to get there. It's the first time I'd taken him to this one. He had absolutely no idea where we were going. I was like, you have been here before? He's like, yep. I was like, so where do we go? He's like, I've no idea. It's like, cool. Let's just head this way. We get there and we go in. I saw a parent take a football straight to the face. One of the most painful things I've seen and been able to feel, even though it didn't happen to me. And the child in question could not have given 2 flying fucks. And then football commenced. One of those points in time where it filled my tiny little black heart with so much pride to see my son just go and get on with it. Just go and get on, do the football, do the warm-up, do the activities that were there to do, that were set out for them, listen to what the coach was saying, and just get on and do it. And the reason I say that is because there were so many children there that didn't want to do it, that cried about doing it, that were sitting down instead of doing it, weren't joining in, didn't want to join in, needed their parent to come with them to join in. Said that they were happy to go home, said they were happy for their parents and siblings to go home, said that they would just probably sit down for this one and try again next week. And the parent was like, if you sit down now and if you don't join in, like last week, we're not coming back. And they were like, okay. And then talking about what they were going to do when they got home. And I'm like, I don't think I'd be able to handle it if that was the situation I was presented with. So I'm very grateful and very proud that my son is just there, getting on with it, getting it done. We went home afterwards. I was like, did you enjoy football today? Yes, I enjoyed football today. I was like, you scored an absolute screamer of a goal at one point. Well done, you. Not sure he's going to make it as a goalkeeper. The hands in pockets, not a great look for a goalie. But we got home and I was like, hey mate, you can have one of your special sweets, because I was really proud of you at football today. Because, fuck me, I don't think I'd be able to deal with any of the other situations that presented themselves at football. So yes, very proud dad moment. Might have been for the wrong reasons. But, it's good that he just goes and gets on with it. One of the other subjects in our house at the moment is the sheer level of stress that's going on at the moment. Obviously, you can understand the whole car ordeal is just so insanely stressful, but it seems to have ticked over into that time of year. I've got 3 different child-related activities to do this week. I've got to fit them all in, and obviously, I'm sure you can imagine, those are not the only things I've got to do that day. You know, like go to work. So there's a lot to fit in this week, followed by what is going to be, no doubt, a very busy and hectic weekend. So we've got that situation to deal with. And already, you know, when you get like stuff from school, and it's like, hey, in a month's time, we're doing this. And you go, cool, that's the worst day you could have picked for that. And they're like, we know. And then they send you a follow-up one. It's like, hey, if that was bad, what about this? Would you like to do this as well? And you're like, not really. Every day. Tomorrow. Tuesday's a good day for me because I can get a lot done on a Tuesday. Apparently somebody heard about this and was like, why don't we add a few small issues into your day? How about that? Like, cool, thanks for that. I was saying to Leanne today, I was like, I feel like somebody is holding a tiny little dial and written across the top of it is stress. And every day they just turn it 1 degree. But it's been like that since, like, I honestly feel like around Christmas, I was like, we've just got to get through Christmas and everything will calm down. We've just got to get through New Year and everything will calm down. We've just got to get through this birthday and it'll calm. We've just got to get through this birthday. And I feel like every day is we've just got to get through this and it'll be better. And it's not. It's worse every time I say it. It somehow manages to get worse. Oh my days. It's making me yawn. Let's talk about other stuff. TV. Me and Leanne finished series 3 of Young Sheldon. We moved swiftly on to series 4. What I was saying, I was like halfway through series 3, and for the rest of series 3, I realised that every character in Young Sheldon is a dick, barring one. And I'm like, I don't know that makes a TV series. When you take something like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, for example, you go into that knowing that every single character is awful. This, you know, it's that family sitcom, yay. But each character individually is a dick in their own individual way. And after a while, you get to a point where you're like, this just doesn't feel okay. It's very strange. The other thing I've been watching whilst on the treadmill is My Hero Academia. I finished the first series. Don't know if I mentioned that already. Well and truly into the second series. As a show, the only thing I can really say is it's slow. They've obviously gone down the route of, oh, you've got a superpower, but it has a drawback. Like everybody's superpower seems to have either they've got a sort of character flaw or their superpower is a character flaw. The main character has a superpower which has been given to them as a gift. And they are super strong. However, their body isn't strong enough to take their super strength. So anytime they use it, they break whatever they use. So if they punch something, they will shatter their entire arm. If they try and kick something, shatter their leg, and so on and so forth. And initially I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. How we look at dealing with this? How we, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm like, this is annoying. It's kind of boring. It's a very slow show. You're very much in that, oh, what's going to happen? Not a lot. Oh, is something going to happen now? Probably not. Had a conversation with the person that recommended it to me. They were like, oh, it starts slow, but it gets good. I'm like, does it? I'm starting to wonder if we might have reached our limit, and yeah. Computer games. Something that, talking about how things are very stressful. Yesterday, myself and Sam did a bit of a rebuild situation on the old PC. It was one of those situations where I was like, I need to do something because kids use it a lot, and it can't do things that they want it to do. It can't play games that they want to play, and it certainly can't play games that they want to play in the way they want to play it. Like, it doesn't load very fast, and it's a bit jerky and stuttery and all this and the other. And Sam was like, I mean, that's largely because you're trying to play games on a hard drive rather than SSD sort of thing, solid state drive. So I was like, look, if I spend some money, will that make it better? And he was like, it will. I just don't recommend it. And I was like, don't really have a choice. So yesterday we, and believe me, when I say we, I definitely mean Sam. New power supply, new graphics card, new fans, and SSD. And it went amazingly well, if I do say so myself, having had absolutely no input into it whatsoever. I think I screwed a screw in at one point. Yeah, true story, bro. How about that? PC works swimmingly at this point in time, and that is allowing for some game playing. I played Forza Horizon 6 on it last night, at which point it told me that my graphics card, my brand new graphics card, was not enough to play Forza Horizon 6. I laughed and said, well, the old one was, so why not this one? I was like, hey, do a bench test. It was like, cool. It did a bench test and returned, you can have extreme graphics. How about that? I was like, that's what I thought. Weirdly, and this might seem weird, I'm finding it less boring. It's not like it got better. It's a very strange thing. I'm just kind of enjoying sort of driving around, pootling around. I think it's maybe because I can't, drive around in my new car. Just sits on the drive, losing power. Hey, look at it this way. I get to drive it tomorrow to go and charge it. 14-mile round trip. Do you know how long it takes to charge 14 miles of power? About half an hour. Just sitting, reading a book, cursing my life. Anyway, it's karma, I tell you. Speaking of computer games, I've been playing the Bond game. I'm enjoying it a little bit more. Not masses, but a little bit more. It's very scripted, as I've already said. Largely, overall, a disappointment of a game, I'm afraid. So yeah, there's that. Crimson Desert, I believe I am at the end. I believe I have got like a final boss situation to deal with. I believe. I'm going to find out this week, I think. But honestly, I don't feel ready to finish it. I feel like there's a lot of the game missing. It's a game that I would like to play again, but the thought of having to go back to the start and start again to try and get all the powers and the things and the leveling up and the stuff, honestly, fills me with dread. I think I've missed a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff that's unfinished that I just can't seem to get across the line, can't seem to unlock the levels. Some of the things that it wants me to do, I can't do. So I've kind of had to write those bits of the game off. So I think if I played it again, I would look at ways of trying to do those bits. But yes, I do think I may end up finishing that game this week. And finally, Into the Radius 2 has had a hot patch, or whatever, which apparently killed all of the mods. It's quite tiresome at this point. The guy that does the mods that I use has announced that he won't be updating the ammo transfer mod, which is absolutely mortifying, and hasn't updated the stamina mod, which, not gonna lie, is absolutely killing me at this point in time. Going back to having to use stamina, and you're like, ugh. Honestly, at this point in time, I don't play the game as it was intended. I play the game that I want to play, and some people who may live in this house would tell you that I am cheating at this game, but I don't look at it that way. I just look at making my experience with the game better. So there we go. Bit of one of those. Drop me a line if you worked out which car I bought. Extra points if you can tell me which version of that car. I'll send you my car if you get it right, because, you know, like I said, a little bit of a burden. But yeah, right, there we go. I'll speak to you next time. So there you go. What do you think of that? Bit of a busy one, bit of a stressful one. It's been a stressful week. I'm not gonna lie. It's up there as a stressful one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Before you leave us, do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. That is it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to CookieCast. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.